Hey guys, glad you're joining me for this class on the Internet of Things. I'm excited to teach it, and it is one of the fastest growing areas in technology. So, just by way of definition, the Internet of Things for short is IoT, and it extends the power of the Internet beyond computers, smartphones, to a range of other things and processes and environment. I just want to tell you across the spectrum things that you need to know to truly understand IoT or the Internet of Things. So, IoT is at the epicenter of all digital transformation, the transformation revolution. And it's changing the shape of business, enterprise, and regular people's lives. This transformation influences everything from how we manage and operate our homes to automating processes across nearly all industries. All industries. But what is IoT actually? I'm going to share everything you need to know about the Internet of Things. So, IoT. Very simple, non-technical explanation. You might be hearing me from your desktop or your tablet, but wherever device you're using is connected to the Internet. Connecting things to the Internet yields many amazing benefits. We've all seen the benefit of our smartphones, laptops, tablets, but this is true for everything else with IoT. And yes, I do mean everything. Anything with an IP address will be able to be connected to the Internet. The Internet of Things means taking all of the things in the world and connecting them to the Internet. Okay. So, why does IoT matter? Well, IoT provides businesses and people better insights into things, and it allows them to control objects in every environment that are currently beyond the reach of the Internet. By doing so, IoT helps businesses and people to connect with things around the world, and it allows things to happen autonomously. So, currently, let's say a security guard has to go around from building to building. That security guard, when he gets to each building, he presses a button so that his bosses know that he actually walked around and went to those buildings. Now, he will have a device that will automatically register back at the boss's office that says that he was at those buildings. That's just one of a million different examples. IoT allows businesses to save money because by automating these processes, they won't need people to do things that we consider manual. There are a lot of activities that it's going to allow. For instance, tractors on farms. Those tractors on farms will be able to be programmed so that they know where to cut, where not to cut, and where to go park when they're finished. So here's some examples of an IoT device. In the Internet of Things, as I said, all things can be put into three categories. One is you have sensors that collect information and then send it. Number two, you have computers that receive information and then act on it. And then three, you have things that do both. All three of these have enormous benefits to feed on each other. So, let's look at the first one, collecting and sending. This means sensors. Sensors can measure temperature, motion, moisture, air quality, light, and almost anything else you can think of. Sensors, when paired with an internet connection, allows us to connect or collect information from the environment, which in turn helps us make better decisions, right? So we can have sensors out in a wilderness where there are no people, and that sensor can tell us about moisture in the ground or the temperature of the air or what kind of animals are walking through that area. Number two, well, let's just stick to sensors for a minute. On a farm, automatically getting information about soil moisture can help a farmer. How does it help a farmer, Mike? Well, it can help a farmer to know exactly when crops need to be watered, instead of watering it too much or watering it too little. The farmer can ensure that the crops get exactly the right amount of water. Just as our senses allow us to collect information, sensors allow machines to make sense of their environments, thus helping us make sense of the environment that the sensor is in. So number two, receiving and acting on information. We're all very familiar with machines acting on input information. A printer receives a document and then prints it. A garage door receives a wireless signal and then the door opens. It's commonplace to remotely command a machine to act. We've gotten used to that. So what? So the real power of IoT arises when an item can do both: collect information and then act on it. So three, let's go back to talking about the farming. The sensor collects the information about the soil moisture. Now the farmer can activate the irrigation system or turn it on or off appropriately. With IoT-enabled systems, you don't actually need the farmer in the process. Instead, the irrigation system can automatically act by turning on or turning off as it needs to, based on how much moisture it detects. You can take it a step further. If the irrigation system receives information about the weather from its internet connection, it can also know when it does not have to turn on, because we're going to get rain and the crops will get watered. It doesn't stop there. All this information about the soil moisture, how much of the irrigation system is watering the crops, and how well the crops actually grow can be collected and sent to supercomputers in the cloud that run algorithms that analyze all of this information. And it leads to models that can be used to predict future conditions and prevent crop loss. Wow. Powerful. So what are some of the other benefits of IoT, Mike? Well, when something is connected to the internet, that means that it can send information or receive information, or both, as we said. The ability to send and or receive information makes things smart. That's why we say smart cities, smart devices. We think smarter is better. Let's use smartphones as an example again. You can listen to any song on your smartphone device in the world, but not because those songs are all stored on your device, but because those songs are stored in the cloud and your device can access those songs when you're ready to listen to them and stream them. So to be smart, a thing doesn't have to be a supercomputer or have super storage. All a thing has to do is connect to the super storage or to a supercomputer. Being connected is awesome. So let's talk IoT privacy. Well, everything that is connected to the internet can be hacked. We know that from my previous videos. IoT products are no exception. As a matter of fact, they may even be more susceptible to hacking. Insecure IoT systems led to toy manufacturer VTech getting in trouble because hackers were able to see through the camera of the device and watch children playing with the toy and whatever else was going on inside of the household. They can also use devices for surveillance that were never intended to be used for surveillance, like baby monitors. So every device that becomes connected to the internet has to have a certain level of security put on it. If a connected fridge tracks food usage and consumption, the takeaway could be targeting a hungry person who has no food. If a smartwatch detects when you are having sex, what stops people with that data from using it against the watch wearer? In the future, intelligence services might use the Internet of Things for identification, surveillance, monitoring, tracking you, and targeting you for recruitment, or simply just to gain access to networks or users' credentials. James Clapper, a U.S. Director of National Intelligence, he said that WikiLeaks later claimed that the CIA had developed security exploits for a connected Samsung TV. Now, we don't know if this is true or not, but the connected Samsung TV, some of them had cameras on them. And it was thought that someone could be watching you while you were watching the TV because it was connected to the internet and had a camera on it. Okay? So let's look at how does the IoT work with cloud. We all have heard cloud, right? Put simply, IoT is a source of data. Big data is an analytical platform of data, and cloud computing is the location of the storage for speed and access. Where big data is the large data set collected, big data is the large data set collected, cloud data is the location that the data is processed and accessed, usually using a software as a service model. Big data and cloud data are related, as the cloud infrastructure enables real-time processing of big data. The biggest benefit of using cloud storage for your big data is the scalability, the ability to have 10 users and then have 100 users. Cloud storage is available as a pay-as-you-go basis, which means I may not need but for 10 users to use that storage, but then I have some great big emergency and I need to put another set of users onto my 10 users, and before long I have 200 users. I would just pay for those 200 users when they're actually accessing or using that system in the cloud. So it is easily scalable. That's one of the benefits. And this means that big data analytics can be produced quicker than ever before. This means that a regular person who would never be able to afford a big data analytic system can start small, and as they develop their product or they develop their need for more storage, they can expand it and expand their capacity to do analytics. A combination of the two of these things will transform the world into an efficient and data-driven market. So that's where we're headed. We're trying to make data collection and analytics and the output from those analytics into efficient processes that provide us the data to make better decisions. So, what is the future of IoT, Mike? Well, the future of IoT has the potential to be limitless. Hear me, limitless. Advances in the industrial internet will be accelerated through increased network agility, integrated artificial intelligence. That's when the computer is taking a bunch of information and making decisions based on the input that it's receiving. And the capacity to deploy, automate, orchestrate, and secure diverse use cases at a hyperscale, right? These computers will be able to make decisions from all of the information that it is receiving faster than humans ever could. So, this all plays into where all of this is going. Smart cities. Remember, we said the devices that are connected are smart devices if they're connected to the internet. So a smart city is an urban area that uses different types of electronic methods and sensors to collect data. Insights gained from the data are used to manage assets, resources, and services efficiently. In return, the data is used to improve the operations across the city. So, let's talk about IoT and smart cities. Smart cities use IoT devices such as connected sensors, lights, and meters to collect and analyze the data. The city then uses the data to improve infrastructure. So if the city recognizes, for instance, that there are people parking at meters at a certain part of the city at a certain rate, it may cause them to change the amount that they charge or lower it. It may also cause the city to put more meters in, right? They can actually figure out how much of something that they actually need for that part of the city. And all of this is done autonomously on computers and delivered to the human so that the human has the executive summary that they need to make better decisions. So it seems as though the EU is leading the world in smart city development. The EU has been proactive in encouraging its member nations to develop smart cities, and European Commission has allocated over 365 million euros for this purpose. So comparatively, North America is lagging behind, but I can guarantee you that it's going to be trying to catch up. The technologies and the IoT devices are starting to come together where businesses understand that by using Internet of Things, IoT devices, connecting them to fast networks like 5G networks, we will be able to have more productivity, better efficiency, and to scale. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. This is Mike Echols, and I'll talk to you soon.